Welcome, guys, to another episode of Feeling the Dream Inside F1. For the previous episode, we had a guest, Jesse Edgar, and it was truly amazing. And hope you guys liked that episode. To the new fans, welcome. I'm gonna help you. Do that. And we have a guest. We have a guest coming. It's starting from the pits. Wait. Let me just. I already sent her an invite, but let me just. I'm really nervous. Let's do that. But I'm also doing an episode on Grand Prix. Oh, welcome.
Hi.
Hi. So it's such an honor to have you because you're my inspiration for my podcast, and
Thanks.
I'm really glad to have you. Of course. So I have some questions for you that I
Okay.
wrote. So let's start. Can you tell uh, Can you tell me and Almo Watchers a bit about yourself and how you got started in the world of Formula One, podcasting, and content creating?
Sorry, say that again. You've lost connection.
Sorry. Can you tell something about yourself and your podcast so my viewers get to know you?
I don't know whether it's my connection or not. Just 1 second. Sorry, 1 second. No, right. Try again. I'm having issues. That's
Okay,
all.
so it's fine. Can you tell me something about yourself? How you started in the F1 world and your podcast, so my watchers get to know you, so they can follow you.
Okay, so I'm Charlotte from Starting from the Pits. I sort of got into motorsport just through my parents, really. A few years ago, they were going to a Silverstone Grand Prix, and I decided to watch to see if I could see them on TV. Obviously, I wasn't able to see them. And yeah, sort of now it was just under a year ago I started this podcast now. So yeah, that's where we are.
Yeah, your podcast has got a lot of fans, and it's really good. So yeah, what sparked your passion to start your podcast? Like, what was the first step in you creating the podcast right now?
Um, I sort of just saw a gap in the market for a new female podcaster who wasn't really that well. I was into Formula One, but didn't know that much. Obviously, we've got Lissy, who does an incredible job at what she does, but she obviously came into this with a lot of knowledge. She's been watching that since she was quite young. So for me, starting watching it in about 2016, I was still quite new to it. And I thought it would be a really nice space to open up for new listeners, new watchers to sort of get involved and learn along the way with me, kind of thing. So the first step was creating a hype on TikTok, really, and getting people excited about it.
I really love that because I started watching in 2000, well, 2022, and I saw your podcast and many more, and it really inspired me to start mine because as an aspiring sports reporter, this probably helps. So the next question, I saw that you went to an event lately, and how did you feel? Did you meet any important people, and how did you feel like seeing all of the cars? All of the different cars.
I'm so sorry. Can you say that again?
I'm sorry, my connection is really bad. I don't.
It's okay.
I saw that you went to a event, Motorsport International, and how do you feel like seeing all of the different cars? And did you meet any important people there?
Okay. Yeah, so I only went for the Sunday, and I ended up meeting a driver called Luca. I think he drives a Toyota, maybe, or he basically drives in like a coupe cup series. And he was really cool. He had everybody sign in the car on the day, which was really cool. Also got to meet the girls across the grid. Obviously, I've spoken to Corinne previously on the podcast, speaking about the girls across the grid as a community and everything. But it was really great to meet them in person. They were so lovely. I think they were a tad bit hungover from the meet that they had the night before, but they were all so welcoming and so lovely. Also got to have a quick conversation with Racing Pride, which is something that I've not really, I think, quite just not really paid much attention to, because it's not a community that I'm that involved in. But it's not until you sit with somebody who's involved in it you realise the issues that they're raising are completely valid and very relevant. So I think it's really interesting to meet people at things like that, at shows like that. You don't really necessarily consider it until you meet them. So that was really interesting.
Yeah, I really love girls across the grid, because it's an amazing community that helps girls, because of all of the misogyny in the sport. The next thing I want to ask is, wait. Let's talk about your goals and plans for this year in the motorsport world, or just yourself. What's your plan and goal for this year?
So this year is just kind of to get bigger and better, really. I think, having been to minimal races, to be honest, I don't really know the ins and outs of actually being there on the day. So the plan is to get to more races, potentially get maybe a media accreditation in there somewhere, which would be really cool to have access to the media areas. But yeah, I'm hoping to go more down of a, obviously Formula One's going to be very strong focus, because that's what everybody joined me here for, and I still very much love it. But I think endurance is very much coming up this year, and it'd be great. I'm going to a couple of European Le Mans Series races, so that'll be really fun to get across to.
That's really cool. Do you have maybe any advice for me, for my podcast, for my TikTok? Any advice? Or to the
advice? Just reach out to people, definitely. The worst they can say is no, to be honest. Ensure you've got sort of a good, solid way of presenting yourself to them. So sort of making sure that you have almost like a template of what you want to say to people, and then you can just adjust that to different people you want to invite on. And just, yeah, do your research. That's a really big one. When I first went into it, I was just sort of sat in front of a screen like, don't know what I'm talking about. But once you learn to do your research, you end up getting a way about it and sort of knowing more. And yeah, just keeping an open mind. You never know what opportunities are going to come at you. So yeah, try a bit of everything.
I appreciate that. So you have you have had many guests on your podcast. Which one has been the most memorable, and why?
Most memorable guest, is that the question? Sorry.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I think James Blair coming on was a big deal for me. Just because it was kind of the first person who came on who had a sort of status around them, and people knew who he was. But he was so great. He's been on a couple of times now, so that was great to speak to him and sort of help me get my name out there, but also for him to say his part as well. And also, I think Chloe coming on was a pretty big deal as well. Chloe Chong, just speaking to her about her experience in F1 Academy and getting her point of view from a driver's side was really insightful for my listeners as well. So that was really interesting to hear her talk.
Mm-hmm. I can hear her. Just wait.
I am so sorry, but I can't see you anymore. I don't know if that's intentional.
The connection, I think it's mine that's probably really bad, but the connection is... Can you just wait for her to rejoin, maybe? Can you just...
Hello.
It's just weird because we appreciate her coming on this podcast, so we will love to wait. As you can guys read, something says in the chat. I can see. Wait. I've seen the connection. The connection is bad. Could we join? The connection. She can hear me or hear me. I can hear her or see her. So let's just maybe she rejoins because I told her that. Let's just talk about the things she said. Yeah, the people she said that she went and saw at the event, they're amazing. Okay.
Oh,
There.
can you hear me back now?
Yes. I can't.
There. You're on.
Yeah. Okay. So, if you could have any current or historical figure from the Formula One world on your podcast, who would it be?
I think I'd love to have a sit down with Lissy. I think we'd get on really well. Something about me just feels like we would get on like a house on fire. And I think her experiences could be really helpful in helping me improve the podcast, but also just get another perspective on things, because I'm very much on my own in this podcast and it's just me. So getting another insight into the world of it, and obviously she's got way more experience than me as well. But yeah, I just feel like we'd have such a good vibe.
Yeah, I saw her. I saw people meeting her, and she's really sweet, and it will be such an honor to have her. How do you engage with your Formula One community, and how has their feedback influenced your content on TikTok and
Sorry,
your
can you
podcast?
repeat that?
Wait a second. How? Let's do another question. Are there any changes you wanna see in Formula One?
I'm so sorry. It's the connection's dropping off, I think.
It's fine. Don't worry. Are there any changes or
Okay.
do you want to see in Formula One?
I think any changes I'd like to see in Formula One. I'd like to see some livery changes. I feel like they're getting a bit samey these days. I really love what we've seen of Alpine so far, with the little camo hint to it. I think that's really exciting and a little bit different.
Yeah.
So if people could go in more of that direction, that would be wonderful.
Yeah. I would love to see that too. So if we're talking about Formula One, what's your prediction for the top three drivers and top
three
teams
drivers.
this
Well,
season?
I'm going to put Max on the top because I feel like we're just in Max's domination era. So Max, number one. This could be quite a tricky one this season. I feel like we've got a lot of contenders based around the speculation we're getting on social media and stuff. I think Lando could be up there. I'd like to think Lando will be up there. And it'll be between Charles and Carlos. I'm not convinced on who is going to come out on top yet. I'd like to think Carlos is a Carlos girly, but I feel like it'll be Charles. And team-wise, I think it'll be Red Bull, McLaren, Ferrari. Maybe, I don't know about Mercedes yet. I'm not seen enough.
Yeah, I thought the same. I saw that you watch Formula E also. What's your top prediction for Formula E? Maybe?
I'm a bit rough around the edges with Formula E because I only started watching it last year, so I'm still trying to get into it. But I think Andretti, obviously, they had the win with Jake last year. I'm not sure about the other driver, to be honest. I'm not up to scratch on them. So I don't know how they'll do as a team. I would love to see ERT do well because I love Dan Tickton. I think he's just great. I think he's so funny and so unfiltered. So that would be great to see them up there. And also their livery looks insane. I think it's so cool. That's what we need more of in Formula One. Who else do I like?
Yes.
Porsche. I love Porsche. That livery that they did this weekend with the lavender colour was just stunning. And obviously I work for Porsche as well outside of the podcast, so I have to root for them naturally. So yeah, I think Andretti, Porsche, and who else did I say then? ERT. They're my top three. I don't know how that'll play out or how that has played out previously, but that's who I'd like to see do well.
I still haven't started watching Formula E, but I might start because
and it's really accessible as well.
The next thing, yeah. Do you have a favorite F1 circuit, and if so, what makes it special for you? But yeah, that's the first question.
Okay.
And for okay.
So I think Singapore is my favorite. I love a street track, although we are getting many street tracks coming up, and I feel like we need to lay off a little bit because they're not as special now. But I also love a night race, so I feel like Singapore is like the perfect combination of that, and it's a good track as well.
Yeah, it's really cool. Singapore is my favorite. What about your favorite race you have ever watched?
Favorite race I've ever watched so far? I mean, it has to be Abu Dhabi 2021. That final face-off between Lewis and Max. Oh my days. I don't think I've ever experienced adrenaline like it. I was screaming at that television. So yeah, I think that has to be my favourite.
Yeah, so that was my first race, so it was also...
What an experience.
My dad was rooting for Max. Yeah, was rooting for Max, and I was rooting for Lewis, and it was such an experience. And adding to that question, have you been to a F1 race? And if yes, what is your experience?
Yeah, so I went to Abu Dhabi in 2019, I think it was. And all I can say was it was hot. It was hot and expensive. The Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, I feel like everybody agrees in that it's probably not the best one to be the last race of the season. Everyone's a bit over it by that point. But it is, you can't have bad vibes at a Formula One race. I feel like the bad vibes just don't exist. So yeah, it's great, but it's just like, if you wanted, I think my mum and dad were going to try and get like a pint of beer or something, and it was £10 for a pint of beer, which was just so extortionate. But yeah, it's a good race. You can't have bad vibes there.
Yeah, I agree because I went to my first race in Hungary last year. It was really amazing, but some of the prices were challenging. The next thing I want to ask, in your opinion, what are some of the main challenges that women face in pursuing a career in motorsport, and how can those challenges be addressed, like for engineering, journalism, driving? Lost the connection with. Oh, sorry. Oh my god. Sorry, wait. I hate seeing this. And I was on the good question because it's about women in motorsport, so let's hopefully let's wait. Okay. Okay. I was asking what are the main challenges that women face in pursuing pursuing their careers in in Formula One, Formula E, and everything, and how can those challenges be addressed?
I think something that really stood out to me when I spoke to Helena Hicks from Females in Motorsport was the fact that the rule books were all masculine. And I thought that really stood out to me as something like, I had no idea about that, but that was so interesting to find out. And I think it's little things that we don't necessarily know about as just watchers, as people who just watch the races. They're the things that matter the most because they're about the drivers. So I think in the background there's a lot to go through. I personally don't know them, but it's things like the rule book changes that'll be making the biggest difference, definitely. In terms of from a consumer and us watching, I think it'd be great to have more female features, but don't make a big deal about the fact they are females, if that makes sense. We want to be able to see that these roles are available to everybody, and it doesn't necessarily need to be a feature because she is a female, if that makes sense. And also,
to be like normal and treated like
exactly. And also, we don't need a feature just because it's the F1 Academy weekend. We want features all the time.
It's lost again, sadly. Why? Oh my god! Just be calm, guys. Mm-hmm. Oh my god! I hate this. I have some more questions. Why is it all gone? Wait. Do you remember watching? I hate internet connections, as you can see. Wait. Oh my god. Okay, sorry. Come on. I'm so sorry. One question. I love how. Oh, I can type. Oh my god, I'm so red. Let's just hide it. Let's see. So she will try to leave and rejoin because I have like it's a little bit. I have some questions left, and and then I have the speed round, and we're done. But let's just focus on that. Where was I? I think let's just wait. Um, as you can see, she's really sweet and she's really fun. So you guys should watch her and go follow her. Okay. Okay.
Yay! Okay, we're back again.
Okay, so we left at. Are there any maybe women in motorsports, journalists, engineers, drivers that you find inspiring for you and all of the watchers that need more recognition in the world, in the motorsport world?
Say that again, sorry.
Are there any inspiring drivers, journalists that need more recognition in the motorsport world?
I think I have a lovely friend called and you don't know if you follow her. She's called Ellie Does F1. She works for, I think she currently writes for Silverstone, but she has been interviewing a lot of the up and coming drivers. I think she recently interviewed Luke Browning, did a piece on him, and I love the pieces that she does. She works really hard on what she does, and yeah, big shout out to Ellie Does F1 because she has a bright future, and I can see her being in paddocks across the world.
I don't, but I will probably follow her because she seems really inspiring.
Yeah, I'll send over our Instagram to you.
Thank you. In what ways can media coverage contribute to a more inclusive narrative for women the, in the sport?
In what ways? Sorry, what?
In what ways can media coverage contribute to a more inclusive narrative for women in motorsport?
Um, I think for a lot of women, they often think in Formula One they either go into mechanics, which means they have to do a lot of maths, and that kind of thing, or it's marketing. There's only two options for women in motorsport. And I think we need to stop that stigma. There are plenty of roles for women out there. There's all the stuff behind the scenes, behind the camera. They can be in front of the camera. I've spoken to people that I'm hoping to get on the podcast who I didn't even know their role existed, from putting the microphones on the drivers to make sure that it wires up to the TV. I didn't even know that was a one-person job kind of thing. So I think we need to be more displaying the roles that are available that aren't necessarily just marketing and engineering.
Yeah, I very much agree because we would love to see more women drivers, and
Yeah, exactly. And maybe just showing the different series, not necessarily, on Sky Sports, for example, but just making different series more accessible, that these women are involved in. And yeah.
Yeah, I really love that because we love to see the F1 Academy girls and everything about them and about the media coverage about them,
Mm-hmm.
and I was really happy to see them. Have you maybe we can do the speed round. I will ask some
Okay.
questions. What's your favorite F1 team if you have?
Ferrari.
Yeah, same as most member dream F1 guest from the drivers. If you could have a driver on your podcast.
Ooh. I don't know if it still classes, but I think Liam Lawson. He's such a vibe.
Yeah, he seems really fun. One word to describe your F1 podcast, so my viewers will watch you.
Oh my god. Chatty.
I love that. Most challenging part of managing your podcast.
Probably being solo. It's quite hard to bounce off nobody. So being able to come up with ideas and have an interesting conversation with myself can be quite difficult sometimes.
What's your favorite Formula One account? But like that does content for F1. That is,
Say
like a
that again, sorry.
family. Uh, let's go to the next maybe. What's your best Formula One livery of all time? Because you have said that that we need more liveries. What's your
Mm-hmm.
favorite?
Okay. I really love the Japanese special that Red Bull did with the all white out livery. I thought that was stunning. But McLaren and Gulf, you can't go wrong with that.
I love that. So so to bring like positivity to the podcast, what's your favorite podcast? Formula One podcast, like.
I really enjoy. Oh, what's it called? The Sky Sports one, the Sky Sports F1 podcast. I can't remember the name of it. I really enjoy that one. I also really enjoy the Pit Stop Boys still, if that's controversial. But I love the guests that they have on, and it just seems like a really good vibe on there. So I enjoy listening to them as well.
They have amazing guests. If you so imagine you're a racing driver. Imagine what driver would you race against, past or present, dead or alive?
Oh my gosh. Who would I race against? Maybe like Latifi, so he'll just spin himself out and I'll win.
I love that. If you could attend any Formula One race, which would it be like? you could have a beta pass and you could go to any race?
If I could go to any race, I would say Singapore, but I actually think the Austin Grand Prix looks lit. So Austin.
What's your favorite Formula One quote, maybe?
Say that again. Sorry,
What's your favorite Formula One quote?
I missed that.
Quote.
Sorry.
What's your favorite Formula One quote?
I got to watch your favorite Formula One, and then it went.
What's your favorite Formula One quote?
Quote. Ooh, favorite Formula One quote. What do I say all the time? I'm trying to think of ones that I quote on a daily basis. Holy mac and cheese balls. I say that quite a lot, and I cringe when nobody understands what I'm on about. The Lando Norris where he goes, fucking wet. That's quite frequent in the UK.
I love that. Maybe for the last thing on here, maybe tell us the listeners something, I don't know, for goodbye.
Sorry, I missed that. The connection
I'm
went.
sorry. Because that was the last question. Is there anything you want to say to the podcast, to the viewers, so they can watch you and for Formula One, anything?
I'm so sorry, I missed like half of that.
I'm sorry. Maybe say because that was the last question. Maybe say something for the listeners about you, Formula One, anything.
Something for the what, sorry?
I'm sorry, for the listeners that will listen the podcast. Something for goodbye, because that was the last question.
Oh, as in like I asked them a question.
Yeah, maybe do that. So
What do you mean? I'm sorry.
It's fine. It's fine.
I don't know if it's the connection.
Let's say it like this. Is there anything you want to say to me or to the listeners?
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know when this episode will be out, but season 3 of Starting from the Pits is starting on the 24th of January, so that'll be really exciting. If you're interested in endurance racing or want to get into endurance racing, I would highly recommend coming on over to the pits. Also, for those interested in Formula One, I do have an F1 2024 race planner available on Etsy. Oh no.
Could you maybe...
What did you get up to?
Repeat it. Just endurance racing and come
I'll go from the beginning.
Yeah. Okay.
So the season 3 will be starting on the 24th of January. Which is really exciting. And also, if you want to be, that it girl that gets the week planned ahead, I have an F1 race planner available on Etsy, which is really cool. You can put in like podium predictions. There's like a notebook in there, so you can write everything you want to know about the races, and all that kind of stuff. So head to @StartingFromThePits on Instagram and TikTok, and it'll be there.
Yeah, I could go do that, guys, because she's amazing and she was really sweet to have on the podcast, and it was a pleasure to have you on the podcast, and thank you for coming on this episode.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Of course, no problem.
Bye.
Bye. And that was, oh my god, that was so nervous. So this is probably my longest episode because she's really sweet. So that was the episode. I hope you guys have an amazing day, and I hope you guys go to my TikTok F1 with Tanya, and Feeling the Dream, and my YouTube channel, for Feeling the Dream, and my Spotify to listen to this episode and my previous episodes. And she was really sweet. I was so nervous and shy to ask her. We had some difficulties like the network, but I hope you guys liked this episode, and to all of the new F1 race fans, hey, welcome. I'm here to help. DM me on Instagram on pitstopgirly, feeling the dream _. And hopefully, I think this episode will be up today. I will probably edit because I have no school. And bye, everyone. Have a nice day. It was lovely to have starting from the pitch. She's amazing. Go follow her. Go buy her planner. Start watching her now season so you can watch her new season. And bye. Have a nice day. Beautiful racing engineer's future. Have fun. Have a nice day or night. Bye.